Today on the CTV News at 5, disturbing reports from a Lethbridge long-term care facility. A staff member finds mice biting a woman's face. Plus, why a Lethbridge police officer has been ordered to stand trial. And facing off against cancer. A 24-hour hockey marathon is a huge success.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Having a loved one in long-term care centers can be tough enough, but for one Alberta family, their situation has become even tougher. Situations for some southern Alberta families are actually unimaginable. A staff member found mice nibbling on a woman's face. In a facility in Lethbridge, Friends of Medicare is now calling for an investigation. Terry Vogt reports.
At St. Therese Villa, it's business as usual, despite what Friends of Medicare is calling an appalling lapse in care, after revealing that earlier this month, one of the residents, a disabled woman with dementia, had been bitten on the face by a mouse.
A staff member walked into this resident's room and found mice nibbling on her face. The mice had drawn blood, and so she was medically treated.
Friends of Medicare says staff had been expressing concerns about mice for more than a year, and they say there's been an ongoing issue with bed bugs. We spoke to a former employee who says she quit her job out of frustration. She says staff were reluctant to approach management for fear of being fired.
And you were threatened, you were intimidated. If you don't like it here, and those words were said, if you don't like it here, there's other facilities in this city that you could go and work at. Just don't use us as a reference.
The operator of the facility, Covenant Health, says it can't discuss specific incidents surrounding residents or patients, but does have protocol in place for dealing with these kind of concerns.
Our goal again would be to make sure the patient had the appropriate treatment, that the cleaning was at the level it needed to be at, that the family, we have ongoing contact with the family. We would look at prevention.
Covenant Health also maintains it has high housekeeping standards and does regular audits to ensure housekeeping staff are meeting those standards.
My mother's getting very, very, very good care.
Maureen Pizzat says staff at St. Therese are kind and provide loving care to her 99-year-old mother. Even so, she finds the reports about mice disturbing.
You know, with the viral connection and this type of thing, that is a little worrisome.
It doesn't surprise me. I've seen some doors left open all day long, so I can believe that mice had come in all right.
George Burns has been living here for 2.5 years. And while he doesn't consider his own health to be at risk, he is concerned about staffing levels at times.
And that's where we really need to be asking the question. Is it appropriate that for-profit companies are the ones responsible for the health standards and the care of our most vulnerable populations?
For Friends of Medicare, the answer is no, and they say the latest allegations warrant a full investigation under the Protection of Persons in Care Act. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
An emergency meeting was held late this afternoon at the facility. As soon as we hear more details, we'll update you. Reaction, though, throughout the community has been swift and strong. Here are some of the responses we've received since posting the story on our CTV Lethbridge Facebook page this morning. This is Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, not a third world country. I hope they take swift action here. That was from Louisa. Not caused by staff not working. We applaud all healthcare staff. It's government cutbacks that are to blame, according to Austin. Now, Erica says management should be made to stay there for a month. And the government can close a great facility in Carmagay and keep one like this open, Carla asks. You think us workers want to be in there working, terrified of what we're bringing home or could be bringing home to our families? Of course not. But we still step foot in there to take care of our residents. Do you think if we didn't care, we would do that? That's according to Emma. Technically, Dory, fall arrives next week. But we're not going to really know that by the numbers we're going to see for temperatures.
No, No, absolutely not. We're certainly getting a resurgence of those summer temperatures that we expect in August, and we're getting them in September. So we've got temperatures in the high 20s for much of the coming week, and I'll give you all the warm details and where all that heat's coming from in a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Dory. A Lethbridge police officer will stand trial to face charges of assault causing bodily harm after allegedly punching a man outside a nightclub last year. During Constable Dave Easter's preliminary hearing this morning, several witnesses were called to the stand, including the alleged victim and a bouncer from the nightclub where the incident took place. Police say the officer arrested a 20-year-old man for public intoxication, and it's alleged during the arrest the officer hit the man, causing him to fall to the ground and have head injuries. Easter has been relieved of his duties with pay pending the outcome of the trial. An arraignment is set for September the 23rd. And it was a quick court appearance for another Lethbridge officer charged with assault. Constable Norman Smith made his first appearance this morning, but his case was set over until the end of the month. Smith faces 2 charges following the December 2012 arrest of a 16-year-old boy for public intoxication. While attempting to place the teen in the back of the squad car, a struggle broke out and the teen's head hit the vehicle, chipping 2 of his teeth. The teen later filed a formal complaint. Smith has since been relieved of his duties with pay. His next court appearance is set for September the 30th. And the trial of a former Lethbridge man accused of being Canada's youngest serial killer has been delayed a month. 22-year-old Cody Lethbridge is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in the killings of 3 Prince George, BC women and a blind 15-year-old girl from the area. The deaths date back to 2009 and 2010. Lethbridge, who is originally from Fort St. John, BC, lived in Lethbridge between June of 2008 and August 2009. His trial could take up to a year to complete. It will happen next month. A man accused of killing 3 armored truck guards and injuring another has pleaded guilty, but in 2 of the cases, it's to a lesser charge. An overnight crew of 5 armored guards were reloading ATM machines at the University of Alberta in Edmonton last June when bullets started flying. 3 people died. A 4th miraculously survived after being shot in the head. Travis Baumgartner was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 of attempted murder in the shooting. In court this morning, his trial got underway. Baumgartner pleaded guilty to 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. It's a costly disease that's 100% preventable, and organizers want to remind us that no amount of alcohol is safe during pregnancy. Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Day is today. It's held the 9th day of the 9th month because the number 9 represents the number of months in pregnancy. An event kicked off in Lethbridge with a panel presentation at Southminster United Church. The South Alberta FASD network hopes to spread the word about the disease and its effects on healthcare, education, and the justice system.
They often have secondary disabilities, which, uses the healthcare system or the mental health system. They're often in trouble with the law. They need special education considerations. So it is a costly disability. And the important thing is that it's 100% preventable with no consumption of alcohol. And that's really the message that we are wanting to get out.
Around 9,000 people in Alberta struggle with Parkinson's disease, and this past weekend a first-time event was held in Lethbridge just for them. About 50 people crossed the starting line Saturday at Indian Battle Park for the Step and Stride Walk. It's the first time an Alberta-only walk for Parkinson's has taken place, meaning all of the money raised will stay solely here in Alberta. Nearly $10,000 was raised, but donations are still being accepted up until the end of the month. Parkinson's is a disease that affects the central nervous system. Local researchers now say skating is a beneficial activity.
We want to find a cure, and right now, it's incurable. So we want to be able to say, yes, it's in remission. Yes, it's been cured. But unfortunately, that's not happening right now. And hopefully with the money that we raise through this walk and other things that we do, we're going to get there.
One of the valuable things for people living with Parkinson's disease is to find a management strategy and an exercise outlet that works for them. And that's really one of the interesting things, is just look at the breadth of information that's available and take some inspiration certainly from knowing that there's this much imagination and consideration going into therapies and strategies to fight Parkinson's disease.
Joe Doan will be presenting his research on how skating affects patients with Parkinson's during a World Summit in Montreal at the end of the month. Beef farmers say they're back on their feet after the biggest meat recall in Canadian history. E. coli bacteria shut down the XL Foods plant in Brooks for several weeks 1 year ago. The Canadian Cattlemen's Association says the recall cost the industry up to $27 million, but that beef farmers are rebounding well. And southern Alberta is becoming a very lucky place to live. Terry Horry is another lucky Lotto 649 winner from Lethbridge. He checked his ticket, originally thought he'd won $26,000. He had really won $261,849. Terry plans to use his winnings to pay off some bills and maybe take a Mediterranean cruise. Speaking of money, here's a look at how the markets kicked off the week.